Welcome back to the journey. Welcome to this edition of the Sunday Monday vlog. Um, as you can see, there's no water, unfortunately, running. Uh, this stopped after about 4.5 days, but you can see there's still plenty of blue, clear water. Now you can see a little bit. This is like I said, what I dug back in the day, and I got down to about 5 feet, which is just around that edge here that you can see. And then that's the hole that it blew out from the bottom with all the water coming up. So I've had people asking me what allows me to do the homesteading. For those of you that watch the channel, for those of you that been following the journey, know that Mr. Homesteader, Johnny Jules here, is always in credit card debt. Well, that's what allows me to homestead. So, of course, what did I say I wanted to do? I wanted to pay off my credit cards this past month. It didn't happen. Well, guess what? It's not going to happen next month either. When you want to get projects done, credit cards go a long way to help. I know I'm paying interest, but that's life. C'est la vie. It is what it is. So I went ahead. I bought two 12-inch culverts on the credit cards this month. And then I went ahead and got about $1,400 worth of grass seed. So a lot of people here are telling me I can put Kentucky 31, which is regular tall fescue. And a lot of people do it out here, but it's not good for your animals. So I got the Kentucky 32, which is an indifferent free, which is the fungus that grows on the tall fescue. This is what you should be using for your livestock, not the Kentucky 31. Now, the reason everybody uses Kentucky 31, because this bag right here, $130. Kentucky 31 is like $65 for the same amount of seed, 50-pound bag. People don't want to spend more, but this is healthier because it doesn't have the fungus that makes your animals sick. And then I went ahead, I also got 4 bags of perennial ryegrass. So that's what I'm going to do today is I'm going to get this out. So I went ahead, got these are $130 a bag as well at Tractor Supply. So 130 times 8 is what I spent, plus taxes and shipping and that stuff. And then these were $220 a piece. They're 20 foot long. So the reason I bought 2 is for this reason right here. I don't know how easy you can see this on the camera, but there's a trench here now. You can see it definitely. So then I went ahead, I talked to somebody coming out to look at, he's got a track hoe and he's 15 feet deep. Can't do 20. I want it to do 20 because the culverts are 20 feet. And I had thought about going up on the hill here above the hole, go up here on the hill and dig a hole and run the culvert vertical like I did in Colorado when I put that metal culvert up by the pond that filled with water. Didn't have the artesian effect here. The water never rose up above the pipe or anything, but it stayed level with the groundwater where I was in Colorado on the ranch. So instead going up on the hill, and from there to up on the hill, that's 6 feet, maybe 7 feet difference coming out. Then with him digging, I'm not getting much more depth below this water table here. For there was some water seeping out of the ground or so because I've been studying. And for those of you that don't homestead, let me flip the camera around. It's cutting out because I have. So with my research, I don't want to put the inverted culvert in this hole that I'm going to turn into a pool. I'm going to have all this excavated out into a 75-foot long pool. Because then if it is good water, you got to get the water tested. But like I told Steve, because Steve was talking about taking a water sample down to the USDA office and have them test the water, see if the water is good. But whether you do rain catchment, whether you pull it out the ground or whatever, it's best to run it through filters. And I got black Berkey filters, so it don't matter if it's going to be good or bad water because black Berkey filters will filter everything out. For my drinking water, and everybody know, I don't drink water. I'm an alien, I drink Coke. So But I did my research, and you don't want to cross-contaminate. So you don't want the culvert inside that hole that gets contaminated, and then the water is being contaminated into your pipes. Now, most shallow wells get contaminated because they're so shallow. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have this come to these small trees here. These small trees are going to come out. So that way there's that 5 feet here to this big tree. So this big tree's not right on the edge of the pool. And then I'm going to have a trench dug over to here. And then here's this pink wrap tree. And right here in the center where there's no big trees or roots or anything like that, I'm going to have him dig the 15 feet down. That way he's right here on Purdom Lane. He'll dig the hole right there. So he has plenty of access. Just take out these small little trees that will be in the way. Then I'll have, like I said, the ditch going that way. So with him digging 15 feet down right here, that's going to be, 9 feet deeper than that hole is. So with that hole releasing as much water as it did, then I should be even deeper, and the water will come over here. If I had the pool here, that's the weight of the water that will help push this up from my research and my alien intuition. So we'll see if this all is going to work or not. But then I'm going to put a concrete pad around the top of the culvert and build a little shack here, and then set up. Steve's going to do a hydroelectric. He's doing his research on that because he's the techie guy, and he figured with the water that's running. Now, of course, this is not running. Like I said, this stopped running after 4.5 days. However, the spring up here by the railroad tracks that's in on my property, on the edge of the creek bed, that has not stopped running. So that's been running for over 10 days now. So we're talking 10 days of power could be being produced. So over here in the creek bed, you can see it's been calculated multiple times. It's over 100 gallons a minute flowing down through here. And of course, the whole creek bed is still all filled up. So by doing a concrete pad over there for the culvert and then building a little building, Steve's figuring out a turbine to run in 100 gallons per minute water. If this comes to life, it will produce a whole lot more power, which he said then he can get transformers, power poles, overhead lines, and we can produce our own power here. He'll run a line up to his house, and then I'll run a line way up there on top of the mountain to my house. So then we both have power here on the property, no electric bill, and we'll have our own. So for now, he's figuring out just 100 gallons a minute because it's, like I said, it's been running for 10 days. This is the 11th day. This ran for 4.5 days, and when this was running, you could produce a hell of a lot of power at over 500,000 gallons a day. So with the little bit of power, the 100 gallons, he's going to set up a battery bank in the little hutch here where the water is going to be. There's going to be overflow that it will run through the ditch and come over here. So any water that continues coming will come into this hole over here. And then hopefully, once this is dug out, we're going to have serious water. But then that way we can run a water pump and take water. He's going to run a line to his place. I'm going to run a line over to my place and hopefully be able to have our own thing. Well, thank you, First Lass. I appreciate it. It's going to be a very interesting thing because there's two major things that have changed this year. One, Steve decided that he wanted to rent a piece of my property to come out here, and he's the techie guy, so I don't know all this stuff. He knows all this stuff. And then two, I've known about this water. I've showed over the years water coming out of the little armadillo hole to the small little hole that I dug to this big hole that I finally dug, and it's always come out, but nothing like it's coming out now. And with the release of the pressure, now I haven't been back here in a while paying attention to this because I've been hauling my water somewhere else from my neighbors. But now my neighbors sold their property to their sons. So now he's doing what he's doing with his property. So I've lost my water access down there. So it's nice that this all happened at the right time, and I paid attention. I mean, I fixed this road a couple times when I first moved out here, um, because this road got really bad being washed out and everything from it eating away in that trench. But I mean, this year's just totally changed between, like I said, Steve coming out knowing the techie stuff. He can do windmills, solar, hydroelectric, all that type of stuff. I know nothing about it. I could study it. A lot of people study all that stuff on YouTube, and then you put the one wrong wire on the wrong thing, and you fry $10,000 worth of equipment or $20,000 worth of equipment, and then you're in the hole. There's no refund. That's why I didn't do my solar when I was off grid in Colorado. I bartered labor work and helping my neighbor do stuff in order for him to do all my solar because he knew what he was doing. And Steve actually learned from my neighbor that put in that solar system for me at my house that I built. And then the second is now the water. So hopefully in the next week or two, I'm going to have the excavator bulldozer guy coming out. He's going to give me some quotes on that. If I can't do that, or they don't do a small job, or they have to charge so much for a small job, then I'll end up running. So I'm going to see if I can get it someone local, because if I don't have to do the work, that saves me time to do stuff like this. You know, instead of sitting here putting in culverts and doing all this work right now, I can be out seeding and somebody else can be doing this. So I'm going to try that first if I can afford it, if I stop spending all this money on credit cards. But like I said, without credit cards, I wouldn't be homesteading doing stuff that I'm doing, because like this, $1,400 for 8 bags of grass seed. It's ridiculous. Not to mention if people start buying fertilizer and everything else at $750, $800 a ton. How farmers and ranchers are doing what they're doing with 1,000-acre properties, I have no idea, because it's difficult enough with this 120. You are blessed. Guard it. Don't tell too much. You will need it in the future. Well, first, last, I don't have to protect anything because I'm in debt. I got the mortgage here on the homestead. I'm in credit card debt. So anybody trying to take anything from me is just getting debt, because everything's owned by banks. But what in this world isn't owned by banks anymore? Even if you buy properties and you still owe property taxes, if not, then the government owns it. So no matter what, nobody owns anything in the long run anyhow. Luckily, I didn't grow up with a silver spoon in my mouth. I'm not a rich kid inheritor or anything like that. So with my credit card debt, my mortgages, and everything like that, I don't have to worry about people worrying about trying to take over stuff, let alone who wants to take over this homestead and spend $2,500 a month in animal feed. Most people can't even afford that, let alone to feed themselves without food stamps and things like that. So I'm just, like I've said it over the years, I really don't care. I just tell everybody how it is. I don't hide stuff. Like I said, I don't say all the bad stuff. Sometimes it takes a while for bad stuff to come out. But I just try to be as honest and as blunt as I can and go from there. So this past week, we've had rain, rain, rain. We've had storms. It's gotten cold again. I have to do the video here because of this one. Miss Minnie Mouse is driving the boys nuts because she's in heat and all the boys want to try to mate. And we can't be having that right now either. So I got Max chained at the restaurant. I got the boys chained here. Max, or not Max, Mickey Mouse and Chubbs are chained up here at the homestead. And then when we go home, I've got to have Mickey chained to a pole. I got to have Minnie blocked off in the back bedroom, and then the other two boys, and worry about them not getting in fights. So breeding season is not a good season here on the homestead. It happens twice a year, and everybody says, why don't you get Minnie fixed? Well, she's 7 years old now. To put her through that surgery and everything when they normally live 12 to 14 years, I just don't see the point. I'm going to just let her live her life out. And so she's out here with me today. We're gonna, like I said, get out, spread the seed. Steve's up doing his stuff on his part of the homestead. And besides that, that's been what it is. I've cleared all this back here. I still have to go around this corner and back up towards my driveway and Steve's driveway, which this will be happening coming up soon. I've been working over at the restaurant, the snowball stand where I'm living. I've raked up some leaves. Let's see. Right, but I meant. All right, First Slash, you have a great day. And I understand I got the Anatolian Shepherd, so they're help out with OPSEC and protection. But you have a great day, First Slash. I appreciate it. Uh, so I've been over at the restaurant, the snowball stand. I've been cleaning that up. I moved the fence. I flagged some trees out there. I'm gonna get some of the woods behind the restaurant forestry mulched. Just keep the big trees, get all the small briars and all that chipped up and everything like that. That probably won't be till this fall, but it's just slowly working the process and trying to get things going. So, like I said, I've done this. I'm gonna spread some seed down here eventually and get things set up down here. And then if I can get grass and everything to grow, go ahead and do that. So that's pretty much been my week. Just some retirement days of sleeping. Yesterday I slept till 12:31. Today I slept till 10. Just trying to recoup with the bad weather. We're only at 43 degrees right now. Had a fire going the last 2 days, so I had some of that wood. So I had firewood because I'm once again. And it's just, yeah, make it through the next couple weeks of this cold front that's moved in. And then spring will be back here. And in basically 2 weeks, the snowball stand opens. So won't be doing too much over here, unfortunately. And thankfully, like I said, this is probably last year of the snowball stand. So then I can focus more here because now I have the Homestead and family doing their stuff. They're making big progress. Steve's here. He's making big progress. Now he's going to be leaving at some point and then he'll be back later this year. So, he's making progress. They're making progress. I'm not making enough progress. So once he gets out here and he's moved on to Homestead, then that's two groups of people doing their thing, Steve and Homestead and family, and I'm still not over here. So that's why this is probably last year the snowball stand, so that way I can focus and start getting things done here. And then if this turns into grass right here up to the brush pile coming down to where this pool's gonna be, then me and Steve talked about building a pavilion right here behind the truck. We're gonna put horseshoe pits in, a fire pit with lounge chairs, and he's going to build a rock grill oven cooking area. So that way he eats a lot of steaks and all that stuff. So he does a lot of barbecuing. I don't do too much barbecuing. But that way, instead of doing it up at my place like I had planned to do it, it'd be good here because have a 75-foot swimming pool to hop in during summer, fire pit to just BS down here, and possibly put a pool table down here underneath the pavilion. Not sure. Pool table might still go in my house, but at least have horseshoes down here. I'll bring that from the restaurant when I close up the snowball stand and have a nice, just relaxing area back here. So, with that, I hope everybody gets motivated. I hope you guys do some research, get some things going this year. Um, Another thing, real quick, before I go, I've had a lot of people ask me this. So, for those of you that watch till the end, this is going to answer. If they don't watch to the end, they're not going to get the answer. But I've had a lot of people asking me, why don't you follow the news? Why don't you talk about the big topics like other homesteading channels and stuff like that? It, for example, like the Tractor Supply feed for chicken eggs and the train derailment in Ohio and whatever else is going on that all the other homesteading channels are covering. The reason I'm not covering is because this is for me to my life and what I'm doing. This isn't for a public news segment. Like all, almost all the homesteading channels have turned into that. If you watch one big name, eggs with Tractor Supply and all that stuff, it's just, you know, why do you have all these channels? You're not a unique channel anymore if everybody's covering the same thing. So when I'm looking back at my life, I don't care about the Tractor Supply and chicken eggs. That had nothing to do with me. The train wreck in Ohio, all that type of stuff, it's not dealing with me. So looking back at my life, why am I worried about somebody else's business? That goes back to the whole thing of mind your own business, do your own thing. And that's what it is. You know, I'm minding my own business. I don't have to worry about all these other things. I'm talking about what happens to me, my life, and what I'm doing here. So, for those of you who've been wondering why I wasn't covering all these different topics, I'm not out there for the views. I'm not out there for the subscribers. I'm not out there to cover all the hot topics, the trending news, and the number one hits on Google. You know, I'm out here just doing my thing and seeing how my life evolves, how my homesteads evolve, and my journey throughout this process. So, with that, get some motivation, do something today, uh, create your own journey, and learn to enjoy and love life, not hate it and be depressed about it. So, if you are, reach out to people. If you need somebody to talk to, I'm here to talk. Try to stay positive, bring positivity into other people's lives, put smiles on other people's lives. Enjoy this upcoming week. It's going to be a little bit chilly here, maybe a little bit of rain. I'll see what I get done, but we're going to go from there. So enjoy your week. Take care. Remember, live happy, live free. That's the only way to be. I'll see you guys on the next video.